The people of the United States will consume over 5 million pounds of candy this year. And who can blame them? Candy is sweet and delicious. But the question that has plagued historians for ages is, which generation had the best candy? It will take us exactly 1 month to figure that out. February at YTD is Candy Month, and it all starts today as we step into the time machine to travel to a world of drive-ins, sock hops, and poodle skirts. And, I guess, well, like segregation and stuff too. But a world rich in candy. It's old-timey candy right now on You Tried Dat. You Tried Dat. It's Candy Month. It's February. I'm Nick Novak with my pals Chad Hancock.
Howdy.
Nick Gagger.
Hey, yo, daddy-o.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm in the
Getting
spirit.
into that spirit. Yeah.
So we're going to be looking this whole month at which generation had the best candy, and each time period is going to have 3 representatives, and we'll be taking a look at that later. What do you guys? Are you more of a candy person or a chip person, Mr. Chip? Let's start with you.
Candy chips. No, yeah, I'm more of a savory snack kind of guy, but I love candy. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, if there was some sort of Halloween event that handed out loose chips, that'd be great. Just send out
you just walk around and
big bowl.
There's just a big bowl of chips.
Big bowl.
It's like take one.
Cream and onion chips. Please take 2. Got it.
And Chad, you are well renowned as the king of all Reese's. But candy in general, or is it just, or are you more just a Reese's guy?
Well, yeah, candy in general, but it is. I mean, if I think about like my purchases, in the last week or couple weeks of candy, it's been like Reese's Hearts because they're out for Valentine's Day. Reese's. I got some Reese's Sticks the other day for the first time in a while. I got the Reese's Outrageous with Pieces, and I got a peanut butter Snickers, which is basically a Reese's Snickers.
I like how you're thinking about your candy purchases for the last couple of weeks. My candy purchases in the last couple of weeks have been for this podcast, and that's it. I don't think I actually went out and bought candy anytime else.
Well, the thing is that at Walgreens, they have a lot of candy sort of like on sale it'll be like 79 cents for like a candy bar at Walgreens or something. So every time I go to Walgreens, like to pick up, I had to pick up some cold medicine recently. And so it's like, well, while I'm here, I might as well buy half a dozen candy bars. To eat over the course of the next 3 hours. But I think it's probably in my DNA because, my grandma and my mom actually originally grew up in the town Hershey, Pennsylvania. And that's where my grandma lived up until she passed away a couple years ago.
And your uncle is Mr. Goodbar, right?
That's true. Yeah, Mr. Goodbar. And yeah. And so we would go to Hershey like a couple times a year growing up as a kid. And I used to love that town because you go down the streets of like the main street, and all the lampposts are shaped like Hershey Kisses. And then the whole town just smells like chocolate. So you can imagine, like, as a little kid, just like absolutely wanting to go to grandma's as much as possible because you get, it's basically like you're at a place where it just smells like chocolate all the time.
That means it's in your veins because you live there, unless one of your descendants fucked Milton Hershey. Do you think that it was likely?
Well, the part that I missed was the part where like I would go to. They have a place called Hershey Chocolate World, which is, it just has like a little tour ride where they take you like, oh, this is what the chocolate factory looks like. And you could buy candy and stuff. But they had like machines that showed like chocolate getting mixed. And one time I broke into the back of those, like into the back of the ride. And I took a bunch of that chocolate. And then I took some needles from, when I used to do heroin. And I injected all the chocolate like directly into my veins. So when I say that the chocolate is in my veins, I'm being literal.
That's when Oompa Loompas came out and sang a depressing song. What do you do when the kid is on meth?
And then I did this whole crazy science experiment where I was actually merging my DNA with the chocolate. So now I'm half chocolate.
All right, then.
So that happened.
I'm surprised I haven't heard that story before. Yeah, that would seem like something you would have led with a long time ago.
We got through a whole year of eating chocolate snacks. before you told us that you were half of your DNA was chocolate. That's really.
How do you go outside without melting?
And also the fact that I did a bunch of heroin as a kid,
Right.
just now being revealed.
Well, Geiger, you had a story. Was it have anything to do with heroin?
Yeah, actually. Yeah, no, I watched a guy die from heroin. Anyway, what's up with you guys this week? No, it has nothing to do with heroin. So I was at the grocery store in the beer aisle. Normally it's for me, but this time it was for the podcast. And there was this guy, I was looking all over for this particular beer, which I won't reveal because we'll maybe do it later. But there's this guy, and I could hear him, and he's on the phone with somebody. He's like, I can't find it. Wait, what's the name again? Yeah, okay, just give me a second. And I hear him like walking up and down the beer aisles and stuff. And all of a sudden I hear him like I could hear like the bottles clinking together as he picks up a box. And he goes, hold on. I'm going to FaceTime you and show you just, make sure you got the right one. So he's like, I hear him FaceTime this guy. And he's like going, is this it? And I turn around the corner to see what he's got. And he's FaceTiming the man a case of Miller Lite. The most basic beer on earth. And literally there is a giant banner that says Miller Lite above the beer cooler that is half stocked with Miller Lite. And he's going, I can't find it. Is this the one? Like it's some sort of boutique craft beer that he has never seen before.
What is this you want me to get? Miller Lite? What? I can't read this.
Beer? What's that? And so it's not an especially long story, but I just trying really hard not to crack up. It was some guy FaceTiming going, yeah, it's fucking some Miller Lite. Just buy it. You fucking trip over him on the way out the goddamn store. Just buy one. Unreal.
Plus, he could have got so many other beers that would have fit in the place of Miller
Oh,
Lite.
yeah.
That would have probably just been fine.
Oh, yeah, right. Exactly. He also spent way more time acquiring one of the world's crappier beers.
Right.
But and then at the end, I was like, you don't deserve to live. And I whipped out one of my old dirty heroin needles and I jammed it in his arm and he died instantly. That's how it works, right?
You definitely could have been a heroine yourself, or I mean a hero, by intervening and saying, and just saying like, look, that's not the Miller Lite. This is the Miller Lite. And then directing him to an actual like tasty beer,
Right.
Like Grolsch? I don't know. What's a good beer?
Guess again. So, I mean, that's also presuming he can't read, which maybe was correct because there was literally Miller Lite signage everywhere.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah. So that's I was rather surprised.
Was he a full man or half chocolate?
Well, he smelled vaguely of nougat. I had to throw a vaguely in there. And I don't know. Yeah, he kind of was standing like this, so I think maybe he was a Mr. Pretzel kind of guy. He was like half Mr. Pretzel, half regular. I realize posing for you guys on the podcast doesn't really help anyone. Yeah,
you were arms akimbo.
Arms akimbo. That's what I was doing. If you don't look it up, if you don't know what akimbo is, look it up and read a book. Okay.
We once told our friend that someone was standing arms akimbo. We told him to stand with arms akimbo, and he's like, I don't know what that is. And we laughed, and he says, I don't work out.
That's right.
You have to work out to know what akimbo is.
Well, when you don't know what it means, yeah, and you're assuming.
Yeah. I think it was like a keto or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that a thing?
He's just dumb.
Arms
That
akimbo.
kind of reminds me.
I'm standing arms karate.
That's where you have them up in front of you with like chop hands, right?
That sort of reminds me. One of my favorite overhearing weird people on telephone stories was I was on the subway, the BART here in San Francisco. This was like a couple years ago, and I was actually I was on the subway with Chrissy, who has written into the podcast before, podcast listener Chrissy, and we were on our way to meet my wife out for dinner somewhere. And there was a guy on the subway, and he was wearing like a wife beater, and he was super jacked, like just giant muscles. And at the time that we got on the subway wasn't that crowded, and so he started doing like exercises on the subway. So it started pretty innocuous, where like he would grab the bar, at the top that the little things are hanging from. He starts doing pull-ups on the bar. That's fine. I mean, it's a little weird, but like, okay, fine. But then there's a vertical bar that you could, grab onto to stabilize yourself. And he puts both hands on the vertical bar and then manages somehow to stretch out his entire body completely parallel to the ground, like he's a fucking Cirque du Soleil performer or something. And he's like holding this position while the train is moving, like his body is like sort of waving back and
showing
forth.
Off,
he's still somehow
clearly.
like stiff. It's just showing off. And then the train starts to get like a little more crowded, but he's still doing it to the point where like he gets up and does it again, and then his foot is like a inch from this dude's face, and like the dude doesn't even see it because he's facing the other direction, and like the foot is waving back and forth right by this guy's cheek, and we're staring like, is he gonna get kicked, like if there's the slightest bump or something. So then it gets too crowded, he can't exercise anymore. And then his phone starts ringing. So he pulls out his phone and he picks it up, and I just remember him saying like the first thing he says as soon as he picks up the phone is like, hey, listen, I'm about to go underneath the bay, so if we get disconnected, I need you to call me back because the guys at work changed my iPhone unlock code and I don't know how to unlock it anymore. And then like right then we got to our stop and like had to get off. I'm just laughing about that the rest of the night. Like how do you get in that situation where like your coworkers change your password?
Look, when you're the type of dude that's doing your Cirque du Soleil exercises, how many people on that train would it take to lift you into the Cirque du Soleil position?
You would have to like fill the train completely with water and then have like 10 scuba divers like lifting up my feet.
Cirque Day was so waves that would hold you up.
Yeah, even in like outer space I couldn't get to that position.
Novak, that reminds me of that. Him telling that story reminds me of one of our favorite softball stories with one of our teammates swinging a bat right by your head. Where there's these two guys on our team. One's a really big guy. He's a power hitter. And he's a friendly guy, but he's kind of like just quieter and a little more distant. And like, so we don't know him as well as some of the other guys. And he's like demonstrating his swing to this other guy that knows a lot about softball. And they're talking about techniques. And Novak is sitting on the bench. And he's standing right next to Novak and imitating a swing. And the end of his imitation lands literally inches from Novak's jawbone. And like, then he keeps going like, you just blast through. You just drop your foot and then just power through. And Novak's looking at me and we're both trying not to laugh. We just kept joking that he'd be like, and then sometimes, even when I'm holding back, for some reason, I just spontaneously let it rip and just like crack him right in the face. It was like literally, it was very awkward. He had clearly no idea you were there or just maybe didn't care. But
so tell me what you guys think about this. This is a discussion between my wife and I about a guy working out in public.
Okay.
A guy where my kids go to a playground. It's a school playground at their elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
A guy, every day we'd be there in the summer. We'd go there pretty regularly for half an hour a day or so. This shirtless guy who must have probably like around 50 would come up, run from some direction into the playground and use the pull-up bar to do a bunch of pull-ups.
Run from the state
making
prison.
a bunch of noise. And then run away. And I said, what the hell?
Wait,
what? It's part of his workout. He clearly was like running. He would run to this kid's park, do a bunch of shirtless grunting pull-ups, and then leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this cannot happen. You know, if this guy keeps showing up, I have to do something about it. Which is tell somebody else to do something. That's not me.
Right.
But like, it's totally inappropriate. And she thought, oh, he's just working out. He needs a pull-up bar. I'm like, there's got to be a bar somewhere else where there's not a bunch of little kids playing. And like, if you're gonna do it, come when they're not there. If you really have to do pull-ups at this place, do them late at night, like with a shirt on. So was I wrong to think that this was
your
bad?
concern that he didn't have a shirt on and that little kids would see his man tits, or that he might bowl over a kid while he's running through the playground?
No, my concern is that I don't know what kind of creep this dude, like, it just is a creepy thing to be doing, was my concern. I just thought it was, I thought there had to be somewhere else. Like, maybe he's a perv who's there to watch the children.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
was he visibly
erect? I don't know,
erect?
because...
No? Were you visibly erect?
He was. I asked him if he was erect.
Yeah.
No. I, you guys, there, you don't see a problem with this?
I don't. I'm on your wife's side. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I definitely am on your side, Novak. There's a million other places that guy could do pull-ups. It's weird that because like, what if you guys weren't there and it was just like, is this a school playground, like a recess
Yes,
kind of
it's
thing?
an elementary school. You're right.
Okay, and so like, obviously, I guess there's going to be people watching them. I'm just picturing like him coming by and like no one's parents being there and just a bunch of kids playing, and he's just like he could just be easily like maybe he's getting his pecs all primed and then kidnap one of the kids.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have this point of view because I don't have a kid or whatever that I know of. But I don't know. I just feel like that's maybe just a little like, I mean, we're trying old timey candy bars here. In the old timey days, people were allowed to like go and like be around other people's kids without immediately being assumed that they were like a child predator, right?
Well, just because you didn't know that they were, now we know that they are. It's been confirmed that every old
Look,
man.
I'm just trying to say we need to
predator.
take the country back to how it was back in like the 10s and 20s, when there was no labor laws, right? And when people could go work out in a children's playground.
A part of the story I left out was that he also had no pants and he tried to run off with my kid. I forgot to leave. I left that part.
Oh, okay. Oh, important detail. Okay.
There was no pull-ups at all either. He just ran in, swiped my kid.
Wait a minute.
He was wearing pull-ups.
So Novak, he was completely naked except for a Huggies pull-up, tried to steal your children, and your wife was still on his side?
I'm like, is that, you are either rock hard or you have a Toblerone in your pocket. One of the two.
Yeah, no, put it this way, if I found out that some dude was just coming into an elementary school park where my kids were and like working out and leaving, I'd be a little... I'm not going to run up and start like beating the crap out of the guy, but I would definitely like want him to not.
Right, because that's less room for you to work out.
It's less room for me to work out. I need space to get all akimbo and just like do whatever.
Then if you go to the park,
according to our friend,
if you go to the park right after New Year's, all the pervs like have made New Year's resolutions about getting in shape. So there's just like 50 perverted, like shirtless dudes all doing pull-ups and like going down the slides and stuff. Like,
and then they're all mad that there's a child on the swing. They're like, "Is it rude that this child's over here using the park while we're all in here?" It's kind of creepy, right? But the problem is, Novak, in order to catch a kid, you got to be fast. So he's just working on his speed and his agility. It's almost like catching chickens. You got to be quick. Those kids are quick. So you get all oiled up and you run to the park. I mean, I don't know this. I was told this by a guy that did this. And then you do pull-ups to get your pecs all jacked up. And then you get on the train and start doing legs akimbo.
Yeah, would it be better if he'd ran into the park and instead of doing pull-ups, he'd done Cirque du Soleil parallel to ground? Would that have been okay? Because at least it would have been like super impressive.
Actually, yes, because then it's like... It would take away the guise of he's just coming to the park pretending to do exercise to look at children, where it's, hey, clearly this guy knows how to do exercise.
It's just the pretense that bothers you. If he just walked up, he was like, "All right, I'm going to molest a kid."
Exactly.
Like,
I don't like this. I don't.
Just quit beating around the bush.
I don't like being misled. That was what the whole point of this was.
You just have trust issues is really all it boils down to.
You don't mind child molesters, you just hate liars. That's all.
I remember I was at a park one time and I was with a girl. We had been on a couple dates or something, and we kissed briefly. It wasn't like a peck on the cheek or anything. It was a little bit of a kiss. And there were some kids there, and the mom was like,
"Yeah, give us the deeds."
Wait, there was kids there?
Tongue.
Look, I'm just telling you this so I'm telling you this so that when the cops come by my house, don't wonder why I was doing pull-ups naked in the park. I can pretend I was there with a woman. No, but but it wasn't like we were like full on getting after it. I just we gave a quick smooch, and this lady was like, "Excuse me, neckers," because there was a bunch of like kids there, and I'm like, "What the hell?" Like I was all like, "What?" I didn't. It's
How
not like
long
I'm,
was
like,
the kiss?
having sex in front of your children? What, you want one? That's like, and I have to think because it really was a while ago. 5 seconds tops, maybe.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, like I said, it was more than a peck, right? But
Okay.
it wasn't like we were tonguing each other.
That's
either.
worse than pull-ups.
Here's the thing: when you combine these two, when you got pull-up guy, and then you got you and the girl, you're like,
yeah.
I gotta move. Like, what's going on around here?
It wasn't the same park. It was actually a Sybaris. We were all the kids. I don't know why they put a kids park in the parking lot of Sybaris, but
That's a kind of longer. I also assume whatever was 5 seconds was actually probably 10.
yeah,
And I've never seen you kiss someone and not reach for a boob.
yeah. You're right.
Yeah, just like I've never seen Novak kiss someone and not reach for a pull-up bar at the same time.
Okay. All right, let's rate some snacks. We've got some old-timey snacks we're going to be rating. And we use a 5-point system. We have a love that, like that, indifferent to that, dislike that, and hate that. And today we have 3 snacks. And we're going to start with a snack that turns out to not be an old-timey snack. The Jimmie Stix. The Jimmie Stix.
Well done.
It's made by the same company that is made by the company Boyer, who makes Mallow Cup, and they've been around forever. And I saw the package and said, this must be the oldest snack of all time. And then it looks super old, like the packaging.
It certainly looks like it. Yeah.
And then when I was looking up some stuff pre-show, saw that this was just recently added to their line, but made to look old. So it's at least by a company that's old.
So our
Terrible
themed
start.
candy month off to a swimming start.
It has a picture of a kid on it in what looks like a prison shirt, and he's got Jumpin' Jimmy written on his shirt, and it does look like a 50s style kid.
Yeah. It is an old-timey drawing. Now, these are milk chocolate and peanut butter covered pretzel sticks. All things I love. So I've never had these before, but these have the potential. Like, I have very high hopes for this.
I wonder what's in the center because it could be
Pretzel,
cream
right?
or it could be like a.
It says pretzel.
Is that what the pretzel? I thought
Covered pretzel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They look like long turds.
Some appetizing descriptions for our audience.
Yep. like any candy bar, I guess.
This one looks like a long turd.
Snickers doesn't though. Nope, not Snickers.
You know, it doesn't look like a long turd. Reese's Cup.
Looks like a round turd.
Yeah. Looks like a cow pie.
Candy bar month is just us talking about which type of poop each candy bar looks like.
Welcome to Candy Bar Month. Here's the latest news on pedophiles and shit.
All right. Well, this is it's a very hard pretzel on the inside, and harder than I expected for sure.
It's like a pretzel log that you'd get when you buy the packages. And let's just talk about logs now. But yeah, pretzel takes up a higher percentage of this than I thought it would.
Yeah.
It's like a full pretzel rod covered in caramel and then a thin layer of the chocolate layer is very thin.
Eating this thing is like a bigger workout than doing push-ups at the children's playground. Or pull-ups. Fuck! I fucked it up. God damn it.
He's so mad you fucked the joke up.
It's not even a good joke.
I'm barely tasting peanut butter. Are you guys tasting my peanut butter?
Yeah. Almost none.
No. In fact, I thought it was caramel when I just talked about it. It tastes like a chocolate covered pretzel.
All right, Gagger, you're first. You're first, I said.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of Jimmie Stix. Sorry, I had a Jimmie Stix in my mouth. Not the first time you said that, right, guys?
That's what a
That's
Jimmie
what a Jimmie
Stix
Stick is for.
I was waiting who was
Simultaneous.
going to say it first.
when I showed my wife the snacks that we were gonna try, she's like, "Are you guys gonna make a bunch of Jimmy hat jokes?" And I was like, "Probably."
We have a friend that was infamous for, when referring to a condom unprompted, he said, "That's what a Jimmy hat is for." And he is also the friend that is most likely to be right at home in a 1950s episode.
Yeah.
So, these are good. I'm trying to figure out if I'm downgrading them based on expectations or downgrading because I didn't like them. I'm probably going to go something different. This looked. I was with Chad. I thought this would be the thing I'd enjoy the most today. But it's just too much pretzel. I'm not a huge pretzel guy to begin with. Pretzel, especially pretzel when you can't taste the salt, is just a dry. It's just like a dry thing of like dried out bread almost. You can't taste any of the peanut butter, which would have made this really good. And then chocolate's fine, but there's just not that much of it. So indifferent. It's not bad or anything. But I wouldn't really go out of my way to get it again. It's just kind of like a meh for kind of snack for me.
Chad?
I'm very disappointed in this. Like I said, I had very high hopes. These are all ingredients that I should like. This is so poorly executed. The pretzel is way too big. There's not enough peanut butter. You can barely taste it. And when you do taste the peanut butter, it's not really good peanut butter. And then the chocolate is not even, it's like low quality chocolate. Like it's not even good chocolate. So there's nothing here about this that works for me. This thing I think is bad. I'm going dislike that.
I'm also extremely disappointed. Had very high hopes. Geiger makes a good point about the no salt. The peanut butter is hard to find at all, and I'm pretty hungry, and I am only eating about half of one stick of these. So I'm also going to give it a dislike that. So a really surprisingly poor start from the Jimmie Stix, which had such high hopes. So let's see if one of these other two can score a win for the old-timey candy. Next, we're going to move on to the Black Cow, and it's a chewy chocolate caramel candy, and it says an American tradition for more than 80 years. I looked this up, and I guess there used to be all kinds of different flavors, and they'd call them like the pink cow, the blue cow, and stuff like that. But the Black Cow is the only one that they kept making, and the company is Atkinson's. Just
the cow picture on the front is very funny. It's a very funny looking cow.
It's a jovial cow.
Yeah, huge goofy grin on his face. Looks like he's ready to, party with you and do some lines of heroin on the playground or something.
It is
just combining stories.
Hard as hell to feel it through the bar.
Oh my god, it's like so it's like so sticky.
Have you guys had one of these before?
No, you have?
No.
Ah,
it's like so tough and chewy.
This thing is also pretty big. I mean, this is the size of almost like a full Hershey's bar, kind of. And this is mostly like a Charleston Chew type thing. It's pretty big for that to be the case.
It's long, but it's kind of it's very flat.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. It's not quite caramel.
Well, it's chocolate flavored caramel, right?
To me, it doesn't quite have the caramel consistency of needs to be a little stringier. I guess adding the chocolate in.
I can't get mine off the paper off mine.
Having a hard time.
I
haven't even eaten it yet.
You have to peel it off, and then spoiler, also peel it off your teeth after you bite into it.
Well, it's a caramel. I don't know what you thought.
It's kind of like it's like a milk dud.
Yeah, that's good. I think they call it Black Cow because we all look like just cows doing our cud over here. Trying to get through this thing. Could you guys ever see yourself eating the entire thing in one sitting?
No.
A lot of caramel.
I can't see myself eating a second bite in this sitting.
I'm taking a few bites.
Right, a little spoiler alert. Yeah, no, some days bad. It's just a lot. Was caramel so plentiful in the 60s that they were just giving it away like this?
The Great Depression, nobody had any money, but they all had big sticks of caramel for some reason.
The Great Caramel Wars. Wait, what 60s was this from? The Depression?
I thought these were from the 20s. No?
Oh, were they?
80 years ago? Oh, I guess 80 years ago is what is 80 years ago? Yeah, like the 30s.
Sometime between that.
30s and 40s.
The Depression and the 60s.
Hey, that last one was from like 2
That's
years
pretty much
ago,
right when the
so
Karma
it's
Wars
fine.
fell, I think. So that makes a lot of sense.
Gluten-free, cholesterol-free. Yeah, no shit.
You always get mad at that.
It's just so dumb. Why are you advertising that? No one thought this had gluten for a second.
All right, Chad, you're up first.
This thing is dog shit. Yeah, like
Okay.
it's bad. As funny as the cow is on the cover, the candy itself is equally as awful. It's so chewy. I don't even like the flavor. The consistency is just a complete disaster. This thing is so bad. Hate that.
Wow. That's the weirdest. I can't imagine being so opposed to this pleasant.
It's
snack.
awful. It's like it's so hard. You just have to like rip it with your teeth. What's fun about this
It
thing?
has to be fun, not a toy.
There's no batteries, Chad. Sorry.
What?
It's not a toy, is what we're talking about.
I'm like, what candy comes with batteries?
All right. Well, it's okay. I'm warmed up to it a little bit. The flavor's fine. The flavor's pretty good, and I kept eating it. So I don't know. I think it tastes decent, and I mean, I didn't have that.
You're not really selling anyone
didn't
either.
have
No, man.
I didn't have.
I mean, it's here. I kept eating it. I'm hungry.
I didn't have trouble biting it like Chad seemed to have trouble biting it. My teeth got through just fine.
If I was stuck in the caramel wars with nothing else to eat, I guess I would eat it.
Who won the Karma Wars? You guys remember?
Caramello. General Caramello, I believe.
So I'll give it a like that. It's not great.
Fuck. How did you like
Fine,
this
I like
thing?
it. I could eat it.
The Jimmie Stick is better than this.
No, it's not. This is like eating a bunch of Milk Duds that got melted and stuck in bar form. And I think Milk Duds are decent.
So this is fucking dog shit. No, it's fine. I agree. It was. I mean, it's not something I'm going to go out of my way. I don't love caramel to begin with. This tastes better than regular caramel to me because there is like a chocolate. It doesn't taste like chocolate necessarily, but the cocoa flavor changes the caramel flavor for me. It does get lodged in your teeth, and I hate stuff that gets lodged in your teeth. I used to love Butterfingers, but I stopped eating them because they kept getting stuck in my like teeth and stuff like that. But it tastes fine. It's an innocuous enough candy. It's fine. It's too big. I don't know who eats this all in one sitting.
You.
No, look, I've got
You're
a fairly
Mr. Cow.
sizable chunk. Mr. Black Cow.
Mr. Cow.
I give this 2 moos. No, I would say this is a. I'll go indifferent.
Stop beating
It's
around
fine.
the bush.
It's fine. I beat it around the bush for a while. I'll go indifferent. It's fine. But I mean, it's not great. That's not bad either. It's certainly not a terrible flaming pile of cow shit like you made it sound to be.
So a like, a indifferent, and a hate.
How can you hate this? I'm so
I think that still puts
confused.
us in the lead. Black Cow's still ahead of
It
the
is.
Jimmie Stick, though, just because it got some decent ratings. So it's segment time. And today we're going to be doing a little segment that the guys don't know about. We're starting a new thing this year around where we're just taking turns organizing segments. But this one's going to be called Over Under. So I'm going to give you guys we've done something similar to this where we had to guess numbers. But I'm going to call out a fact that has a number answer. And one of you is going to give a number, and the other guy says over or under. So you got a 50-50 chance based on what the other guy says. So they're in 2 sets of 5. So Geiger, you're going to give the numbers first, and Chad's going to give the over-under on the first 5, and then we'll switch. So some of them have to do with food, and some not so much. So we're going to start with how many calories in an avocado? Calories you think an avocado has?
How big of an avocado?
This is an average avocado.
Okay.
Mr. Stahl.
I'm so bad at this shit. I'll go 150.
All right, Chad,
Ooh,
over or
I
under?
think that's pretty close. I think it's around 130. I'll go under.
The answer is 234.
Oh, wow. I guess it's like fat, like good fats and stuff.
Yeah, I think because it's got some fattiness to it. So point to Geiger there. All right, Geiger, what's the average number of chips in a Pringles
Oh
can?
man, I'll look like a real asshole if I don't know this one, Mr. Chip.
You're Mr.
Yeah.
Chips. This is you got to get it.
Chip, shitty at numbers.
You are Mr. Chip, but you're Mr. Anti-numbers.
Yeah, Mr. English. I'll go.
Yes, you're Mr. Words.
I'll go 30.
It says 30 chips.
Wait,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Chad, over
Sorry. I was thinking the little cans. Are we talking about the little cans or the full size cans?
We're talking about a regular Pringles.
Okay, then that's way more. Okay.
An avocado-sized Pringles can.
All right. I'm changing real quick. I'm gonna go.
We're talking about the Pringles cans that dudes who work out, who do pull-ups, who hang sideways on bars, cans that those guys eat.
Oh, okay. Who crush whole cans of Pringles in one sesh.
They crush them against their skull after they eat.
They hide them in their pants to cover up their erections when they're in a child park. I will say
He comes in to do push-ups, and you're like, "Is that a Pringles can in your pants?" Why did I say push-ups again? God damn it! That's two bad jokes. I fucked
between
up.
you and our friend, you guys don't know how to work out at all.
A guy doing push-ups is even worse because you can do push-ups literally anywhere. So if you're doing push-ups in a kid's park, that's a problem.
He wants to do those incline push-ups on the slide.
Right. Or like if he was at the park and he was just beating off. You can beat off anywhere else on Earth. You don't have to do it at the park.
Exactly.
You don't have to crank it at the park. All right. Back to the Pringles. I'll say for a full-size can, let's go 150 again. It worked for the avocado.
Under.
It is 100.
Oh, I wasn't that far off. All right.
Is the average chips. Okay. So a point to Chad on that one, and we're all tied up. All right. Hey, dude.
Oh, boy.
We're an endangered species. We're an endangered species, dude. How many cheetahs are left on the planet?
How many cheetahs?
Well, I say.
Is Foghorn Leghorn responding? Hey, dude.
The cheetah is an endangered species. How many are on the planet?
See, I wish I knew the cutoff for it being endangered. I'll say.
I don't know.
I'll say 400. It probably sounds low though.
Okay, Chad.
Over.
The answer is 7,100.
See, I don't know shit about cheetahs.
You know about certain cheetahs, just
right?
not,
Yeah, those 7,000 cheetahs. Those male cheetahs are really showing everyone their balls.
All right, so you better get this right on because this question is right up Chad's alley.
Oh, great!
It's right up.
How
Chad's
many granules
alley.
of peanut butter do Reese's Pieces?
How many ounces? Yep. How
Are
many
you
ounces
shitting me? It's about...
is the Reese's Big Cup? One Reese's Big Cup.
Fuck. I have literally no fucking clue. All right. I will say I'm gonna look like such an asshole either way. I'll say
setting you up to look like an asshole.
Yeah, you always are. It's not even how much ounces are in. Let me see how many ounces. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Just getting some frames of reference. I will say it is 25 ounces. Is that a lot?
Chad.
Under.
No shit.
1.4.
I was close. I don't know anything about volume and numbers. This is set up against me.
You thought that the Reese's Big Cup was like a pound and a half.
I don't do math well. I thought you meant the huge cup, not the big cup.
No shit.
I thought you meant the huge cup.
Pound and a half big
I
cup.
thought you meant the Reese's.
Good God.
The Reese's bucket. Or it's like a Reese's piece with a handle on it.
You thought you couldn't eat the black cow in one sitting. Wait till you see the new Reese's Cup.
1.5 pound dry aged Reese's cup.
All right, here's your last one, Geiger. In 2003, Gallagher, this is true, ran in the California governor recall election, the one that Schwarzenegger won. Gallagher was on that ballot.
Right. Yeah.
There were 135 candidates who were able to run, who were legal to run then. What place out of 135 did Gallagher come in?
Thinking the problem with our government.
The problem with the government is I came in 135th. That's right, girly man. That's such a impression-filled ballot there.
135. I will say 87.
So in this case, an over means that he
Worse.
finished.
No, for over, let's say
higher
he
than
finished
that?
worse. So, like,
Worse, okay.
if you thought he finished 100th, then you're going to say over.
Okay, I will say under. I think he did better than 87th.
He finished in 16th place.
What?
Surprisingly.
He's celebrity enough that like enough people are gonna vote for him. Like the people, like if there's 135 people on the ballot, it's like that Cirque du Soleil guy from Bart was on the ballot, right? Like nobody's like they're just gonna vote for people that they know. That's how Schwarzenegger won because he was
People
the biggest
are
name.
gonna vote for Gallagher.
It's a name they
I vote for
recognize.
this black cow thing over again. The guy probably smashed a 2-pound Reese's Pieces.
He wants to. I think he wants to get all the push-up having politicians out of Washington.
Yeah, that's yeah.
All right, so now, Chad, your turn to call the numbers.
Yep.
And Geiger, you get the easier job, but Chad does have a 4-1 lead here.
Yeah, shut. Just get this over.
Chad,
I'm terrible at that.
How many calories are in the Lambeau Field horse collar?
Ooh. Now that, as a recap, that is like a giant kielbasa with like tons of cheese and some bread and some other stuff, right?
It's like a giant, kielbasa wrapped in pretzel bread and sauerkraut and Thousand Island dressing, I believe. It doesn't exist anymore either.
It's a huge looking sausage too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 1.2 million calories. No, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 2,000 calories.
What weighs more, that sandwich or the Reese's I was talking about? Wow, wait, what'd you say? 2,000?
2,000 calories.
I'll say over.
6,000 calories reportedly.
Holy shit!
Yeah. The thing's gigantic, yeah. So 3 days worth of your daily recommended calorie intake.
All right, Chad, what's the average number of Skittles in a bag of Skittles?
Let's go with 35.
That's a good guess. Yeah.
Stop doing push-ups.
2, 3. I'll go over on that as well.
54. Geiger is back in the game. It's 4-3 with three questions to go.
Guess I just had to stop trying to approximate things in my head.
All right, Chad, how many movies has Morgan Freeman been in?
Hey, Red, check out my IMDb.
I'm gonna say 60.
Ooh, I will go under on that one.
88.
Oh, wow.
Reportedly 88
Prolific.
movies, yes.
The man has a long and storied career of yelling at wardens.
All right, Geiger, you need both of these. All right.
Yeah, I got
It's
it.
2002, NBA Finals. The Los Angeles Lakers are playing. Shaquille O'Neal takes the court. How many pounds was Shaquille O'Neal in the 2002 NBA Finals?
I think
380 pounds.
Ooh, I'm gonna go under. I think he was like 360.
342.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Yeah, he got to be like 400 pounds like late in his career.
Yeah, I think they said even the next year he was up to like 370. So,
Yeah.
All right, Geiger, you need this to tie. Okay, Chad,
And if I hit it exact, then I win 10
you
to
might
0.
actually hit this exact. So we have the You Tried Dat logo.
You might hit this exact. How many members are on this
It's a
podcast?
similar question. So without looking at the You Tried Dat logo, what is the combined number of teeth and claws on the You Tried Dat bear?
Oh, wow.
So all counting
I know how many
his teeth and counting his claws.
Yeah. I know how many claws it is. I don't know how many teeth it is.
You do?
I was the one that made that logo. And by made, I mean stole it from the internet. All right. And then spent way too long photoshopping the dialogue bubble into it. Okay, so I'm going to say 12.
All right. Let's see, about 3 or 4 claws per hand. I will go over.
16.
Over.
Yeah.
Oh, you should have came up with a stupid tiebreaker question.
What's what's the proportion? Like, what is it? What's the breakdown?
How many claws, Chad, did you think?
It's just the one hand, so it's 4 claws.
So the
right?
tiebreaker question. He's got 3.
Give
me a number.
And then he's got 10 total.
The Guinness World Record
then I guess I don't
for
know how many
most
claws.
pull-ups in a
I thought he had
24-hour
4
period.
each.
This
Yeah.
was done by a 54-year-old man. He has a picture here. He's clearly ripped, despite being 54. Named Mark Jordan, and he did pull-ups for 24 hours apparently. And it's not clear whether he did them at a child's playground or whether it was in a gym.
With the shirt
But
off.
in this picture, he does have his shirt off and is either erect or has a Pringles can or something in his pants. So
The Guinness Book picture showed him with a giant boner.
actually, you can't.
Odd choice by the editor.
You actually don't see his face at all.
So we'll both come up with a number, and then whoever's closer.
Yes. So pull-ups in 24 hours. So get the number in your head. Think of it now. Think about how many pull-ups a man could do in 24 hours. And then once you are soft, give me your answer. Geiger.
Not ready.
Chad.
Okay, I'm ready, but I don't want to say it till I get the number.
Oh, you just want to make me look like an asshole. You got prices right in me too.
No, I just don't want you to say. If I say 5, I don't want you to say 6.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
You're always so worried about looking like an asshole when you're already an asshole.
I don't want to show my true colors.
Just embrace
Yeah.
who you are.
All right. This motherfucker did pull-ups for 24 hours. Show off, shithead. Okay, sure, go ahead. Oh, it's me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Still
it.
me.
Say a
1,200.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna say 20,000.
We were right. We were real close.
You're both wrong.
What's the answer?
4,321. So Geiger still
Oh,
wins.
yes, I win. I am not an asshole. 20,000? You
I
got a
just thought it had
fucking
to be some huge
cyborg?
number.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 4,000's a huge number. I was trying to do it because it's like one. I figure you could do 1 per second, right? Like 1, 2.
That's
3.
what I tried to do too.
And you came up with 20,000.
We can slow down at some
He's gonna
point.
slow
for
down
24
eventually.
hours. All right. So here's Chad. Chad just beats our ass for weeks at a time on all these competitions, constantly beating us because they're all about food and how many Reese's and a so and so and blah blah blah. But suddenly it's an exercise question, and he has no fucking clue.
Look, I figured he does 1 a second, and I just looked it up. There's 86,400 seconds in a day, so I'm like, even if he slows down 20,000,
He
1 every 1 every 4 seconds for 24 straight hours.
He probably thought he was doing push-ups. The problem, but I also was trying to do that math, but I couldn't do it in my head. So you guys were pressuring me for an answer, so I just said 4,000.
They have a picture of the guy who did 20,000, and it's Wilt Chamberlain's corpse. It's just a bunch of kids lifting him up.
Wait, why is it a bunch of kids?
Who
That's
else
creepy.
digs up a corpse?
Like,
All right.
All right,
We've got
Toblerone?
one snack to go. It's the Toblerone. And oddly, none of us have had the Toblerone, as we were talking about.
It's such a weird snack with why is it shaped like a triangle and it's supposed to be the Swiss mountains or something?
Yeah, maybe.
It's very odd.
Now, Mondelez, right, is technically the company that makes Oreo, right, Chad?
That's Nabisco.
Something like that, isn't? Or Mondelez maybe they're the ones that made the Oreo candy bar that had like the.
I mean, every
circles on
company
it or
is.
whatever.
It's all We have one global company at this point,
Yeah.
so probably the same.
So a Toblerone says Swiss milk chocolate with honey and almond nougat. So it's shaped like a triangle,
Yep.
but you can break off the pieces.
And it says of Switzerland, so go Switzerland.
I wonder if Toblerone it stands for someone's name or something. And by wonder, I mean I could easily look it up. I just won't.
This chocolate you can tell it's a higher quality chocolate than the Jimmie Stix right away.
Oh, it's night and day.
It should be noted Toblerone comes in 2 sizes, like ruler and like nightstick, right? Like you got the giant one, Chad, like the Billy Club shaped. Yeah, I don't think it's huge.
I got the one that you put in your pants before you go do pull-ups at the park. Yeah. I had to pause for a second to make sure I got the right exercise.
Oh man, look at that creep over there with a triangle-shaped cock.
Before you go do burpees at the... God damn it, I fucked it up again.
It's pretty good. The bottom of it is not nougat like you'd think of. Like kind of little chunks. So it kind of has a more creamier top to it and a chewier bottom.
Got some of the foil in my mouth.
So I'll start. This is good. I like it. Chocolate is a nice tasting chocolate. Very smooth and creamy. And then the nougat gives it kind of a nice little chew. I'd like that to be maybe a little softer than it is crunchy, and then I think we'd really have something going. But I am enjoying it, and it's a pretty easy like that for me. Geiger?
It's good. The chocolate, you're right, is very good. It's really well made chocolate. Very like smooth milk chocolate. I don't taste much honey, which is fine. I'm not a huge fan of honey, but the almond nougat almost comes off more in consistency like a toffee bar to me. It's almost like a little chunks, like a Heath bar almost. Almond and I have some issues, so I'm not going to eat a ton of this, but it's tasty. I kind of like almond and honey and stuff are not my favorite fillings of a candy bar, I guess, at the end of the day, but this is fine. The chocolate's very good. It's very well made. I think a like that is fine. Like a mild like that for me is where I'd give it.
All right, Chad, knock at the door.
Yeah, this is actually a very pleasant surprise. I'm still a little disappointed, actually. This could be a love dat for me. It could have been. It's just, I'm pretty much in line with Novak. It's just a little too hard. If it was just slightly softer and sort of like easier to break off, then I think this would be an easy love dat for me. But I'm just going to downgrade it just a little bit. I think this is delicious. This is a really, really pleasant surprise overall for me. So yeah, this is getting a like that. I never would have guessed. that I would have liked these Toblerones.
Yeah. A welcome visitor.
Yeah.
It's Toblerone.
So clear winner today.
Very unlike a shirtless man doing pull-ups at a kid's playground, the Toblerone is a welcome visitor. And is a clear winner today. So, Geiger, our listeners want to contact us. Where should they go?
Tough shit. You want me to do the social
You can
media
only
thing?
contact us by FaceTiming us from the grocery store.
Right.
And we will tell you where the Miller Lite is.
And then show us a picture of our podcast and say, is this it? Is this it? No, if you want to give us suggestions, mailbag questions, make recommendations for snacks we should try, agree with us, disagree with us, etc., you can contact us at youtrydat@gmail.com. We have a Facebook group. You can leave a comment there. Hashtag YouTryDat on Twitter. We're on YouTube, SoundCloud, and Instagram as well. And we are probably after this on some sort of national registry for pedophilia talk and being watched by the government. So, what was that? Something just fell down in the background. Is that the cops getting out of your house, Novak, real quick? They're filming us. Oh shit, he's onto us. Just take off. Or is that the guy that was doing push-ups right behind your desk?
Geiger, my name is Chris Hansen.
Oh no! Why are we doing this over Skype? That's not really. That's not how the show works, I don't think.
Novak, have you been catfishing us this whole time?
Yeah.
Yes. Ever since I've been catfishing you for 20 years. All to this moment.
Ever since we first met in high school gym class, It's been one long game of the catfish.
Waiting for you to make a certain off-color joke that probably won't really get you in trouble.
So I see you came here today with a bag full of candy to the Skype call. What were you expecting to happen here? I got on like a YouTube binge of like just watching a bunch of clips from that show. It's like so bizarre. No. To Catch a Predator, they're all the same, and the guy's such an asshole, but those people are a lot worse. No, he just realized it made it sound
wow.
like
Yeah, that was very much going in a hashtag not all pedophiles direction until the very end there.
I realized it would sound like I was siding against him. I'm all for the work he does, don't get me wrong, but it's just like he's just relishing in the notoriety of it. It's just really creepy. I always felt like those people that like lure the people in, like your job all day is to go online and like try to pretend to be a kid so some guy hits on you. It's fucking revolting. How do you sleep at night?
You have problems with a lot of the people that aren't the pedophiles.
No, I don't. No, I'm not mad at them. I have pity for them, and I don't understand how they're like not messed up by it. Not saying they should not do that. No, go catch pedophiles. Let's be clear. Okay, you assholes.
You set me up to look like an asshole. I've officially set you up to look like an asshole.
I've been an asshole for some time, but now it's much more plain and clear for everyone to see.
All right. Well, on that note, before you have a chance to redeem yourself, let's leave. We'll be back next time when we'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
I'm an asshole.